One time, he brought two ladies home and told me to join them in bed so that they can teach me how he wants to be handled in bed. Hi, it's another week and this is Life Stories with Buse. My heart goes out to people who lost their loved ones, people who were injured, and people who lost properties in the explosion that happened in Ibadan last week. Our prayers are with you. It was a sad occurrence and it was something that was avoidable. I pray that God heals this country, and I pray for us as a people too, because we have our part to play. We can't continue to be like this. That accident was avoidable. I pray that God help us as a nation, and I pray that God help us as a people. We as a people, we have our own part to play in making this country great again. Because for me, why would some people keep such things in a residential area? And they can't say that they don't know the dangers of stockpiling those things in a residential area. As far as I'm concerned, it's the selfishness of some people that has led to the death of some people and, the destruction of some people's property. And I pray that, people are healed from this traumatic experience. I saw pictures, I saw videos, and it was just a sad experience. And I'm sure that it's traumatic for some people. Me that I stay in Lagos, it's traumatic for me. So today I have another story, and it was sent in by a lady called Chiamaka. And Chiamaka said that she saw the story that we put out 2 weeks ago. That's the story of Memuna. Remember the story of Memuna? Memuna, the one that her husband said that he doesn't want children. And then she got pregnant. Can you remember that story? Memuna is the story of the guy that I said that I feel like the husband has lost some few screws. So if you can remember. But if you cannot remember or if you've not watched it, then you might want to look at the link of the video up there. So she had watched it and said she wanted to share her own story. Now, her own story is similar, but I love the way that her own story ended. Come along with me and let's learn from Chiamaka's experience. Yep. So she goes, YouTube suggested your video about the lady whose husband talks down at her and is threatening their baby. It reminds me of myself some years ago. I don't know where I found the boldness to run for my life, or maybe the hardship reset my brain. I don't know what transpired between my late father and my late father-in-law, but I was a payment for whatever transaction they got into. My name is Chiamaka, and I'm my parents' first child. I'd been told from when I was 15 that I will marry my husband. So this marriage was supposed to happen when I finished secondary school. But before that time, I would go to my in-laws' house to help my mother-in-law. She was a very nice woman. She used to send a lot of things to my mother. They were obviously richer and they had a big house. The plan was that when I married Chinedu, he would continue to sponsor my education to the university. Chinedu, my ex-husband that I was betrothed to, wasn't even in the country. Some of my friends were a bit jealous of me because I was betrothed to a man in Obodo Imbo, somewhere in America. It was a big deal at that time. Not knowing that Chinedu was an ex-convict, he had been to prison in the US and they even deported him to Nigeria. The day he came back to the village, one would believe that an illustrious son of the community had returned, because that was how everybody carried him, not knowing that he was an ex-convict. Our wedding preparation started and then we had the wedding. My father died shortly after the wedding, and not long after that, Chinedu's father followed suit. Chinedu treated me like I was less human. He would beat me at the drop of the hat. What is slap? That one was a constant thing. Chinedu slapped me so much that I started having hearing problems. He would call me names. I was only 18 at this time and he was 30 years old. I would cry to my mother-in-law. She would come and warn him to desist from eating me. One time, he brought two ladies home and told me to join them in bed so that they can teach me how he wants to be handled in bed. I didn't understand it and I begged him to let me leave the room. He beat me up, had his way with me, and tied me to the chair to watch him and the ladies. He would use all sorts of American slangs to call me names. He would curse my whole lineage. I would go sometimes to report to my mother. She would say I have to continue to be a good wife, that I should do whatever Chinedu wants me to do. She would say that it's normal, that it took her a while to understand my father too. When I got pregnant, I thought that it would make him happy and make him stop beating me. The beating worsened. One night, he nearly killed me with pregnancy. His mother came to take me to a part of the house and refused to allow him see me. When I was a bit okay, I left the house and ran to town. I needed to be so far away from my people. I had a teacher there, Mrs. Unwachuku. May God bless her 1,000 times over. She liked me so much, and then she used to encourage me when I was in secondary school to go to the university. She gave me a house address, and she said that in case I needed anything, I should get in touch with her. She told me that I didn't have to continue to live in misery. She didn't have much, but she told me that her auntie in Lagos had called earlier about needing help. Lagos seemed like the most unlikely place someone would come and search for me, so I took the offer. She called her auntie and told her everything there was to know about me plus my condition. Mrs. Onwachuku brought me to Lagos to late Madam Joy. Buse, some people are angels on earth. This woman was the one God used to turn my life around. Madam Joy was a widow with all her 5 children abroad. She was a big distributor to major breweries and some FMCGs in the country. FMCGs, by the way, are fast-moving consumer goods, meaning that companies would do fast-moving consumer goods like milk, cocoa drink, toothpaste, those kind of things. That's what FMCGs are. She had massive warehouses. Madam Joy was a wealthy woman on another level. She was not thoroughly educated, but very intelligent and industrious woman. So I started with helping her around the house. She didn't want me to stress myself too much because I was pregnant. I put to bed and she paid for everything. Our biological children even sent baby things. When my baby was 3 months old, I approached Madam Joy that I wanted to be following her to her shop. I learned so much from her. When I spent 2 years with her, she said I should go to school, that she would sponsor my education. I did JAM, had my WAEC result before, and I got admission to LASU. My daughter had come to know Madam Joy as grandma, and Madam Joy spoiled her. Sent messages home saying that I was fine and they shouldn't bother looking for me. I went to LASU and graduated top of my class. Madam Joy was so happy. She started me on a salary, gave me a small car, and I was still living in her house. Our children had of course come to know me. I behaved myself and I was content with whatever I was given. I gave every task that I was giving my best. I knew where I was coming from and I didn't want to go back there. Madam Joy started falling ill and I had to take full charge of the business, reporting to her every day. She had to travel for treatment for about 8 months at a time, and I took full charge of the business, accounting for every kobo. When she came back and took an inventory, she cried. She said that I'd passed the test of loyalty and earned the right to be a child. Our first son, Uncle Joe, called me and told me that my daughter has full scholarship to any level of education. My daughter is in a university in US, courtesy of Uncle Joe. That wasn't all. Madam Joy's sickness relapsed and she had to travel, and this time it really degenerated and we lost her. Our children told me to keep running the business. They were very comfortable abroad and they were not so keen to take over. I ran that business and I remitted all the money I was supposed to. It was the same Uncle Joe that told me that they were ready for me to have 50% stake in that business at no cost. So she goes, me, ordinary Chiamaka from nowhere. The business is still moving from strength to strength and we're expanding daily. Now, back to my ex-husband. I realized that I had become someone and I knew that I had a voice. I went back to the village for the first time after 13 years. My mother, though stricken in age, was thrilled to see me. Chinedu's mother had died. I told my mother that I was ready to return the bride price and whatever it was that my father was owing Chinedu's family. My mother said Chinedu had changed and had been to see her many times to look for me. He also used to send her money. They called a family meeting and Chinedu apologized for all that he did to me. He said that he had changed. He said that he's ready to start all over again with me. Though I didn't have any man in my life, because once they know that I have a child, they would always ghost me. Even me, I knew that there was an unfinished business, so I wasn't enthusiastic about going into any other relationship. My mother prevailed on me to take Chinedu back. She said, what would people say? I wasn't bothered about what people were going to say anyway. My mother said that no matter what I had achieved, I needed a man as a cover, as my king. My daughter also needed to know her father. I needed to have other children with him rather than for another man. I told her that I would think about it. Chinedu came to visit me in Lagos and kept pleading with me that he didn't know what I was worth until I left, and that his mother made him vow that he would find me and treat me well. Foolish me. I gave him a second chance. He wasn't doing much at the time, so he was willing to move to Lagos. I got pregnant and had twins. The pregnancy and birth of the twins was a bit more difficult than that of my daughter, so I wasn't on top of my business. I stayed at home trying to monitor things for my accountant. I'd employed two of my siblings who I knew were serious because I was also being very careful. Chinedu was all loving, taking care of me, telling me not to bother, that he had the business sorted. My sister was the first to let me know that Chinedu was sleeping with two of my sales girls. I challenged him, and he said that I didn't think much of him, that why would he sleep with dirty girls with body odor? But I got my proof because I saw it through the CCTV cameras. Then we discovered that Chinedu was selling my goods and monies were not being paid to the company's account. He had fleeced me of goods worth about 6 million naira, and I got him arrested. I have my children. I haven't remarried. I'm not sure that I want to. Bride price has been returned to his family. The 6 million naira should suffice for the money my father owes his father, though we have no documentation to know how much. But I know that it can't be more than that. So she goes, women, once a man has shown you his true colors, don't try to repaint them or paint a different picture. Take them the way they have presented themselves to you. You see why I said that I love the way that this story ended. I love the fact that Chiamaka had become a woman of her own, and because she had become a woman of her own, she had come to know herself. She had a voice. She was 18 at that time, and she took a bold step to make her life better. And thank God for people who were there to help her, like Mrs. Owanchukwu and Madam Joy, you know. But one of the most important things I want to add to this story is that money stops rubbish. Yes, money stops rubbish. I'm an advocate of financial independence for women. Yeah, I think that every woman should have something that they are doing. You shouldn't be waiting for your husband to do everything. I'm an advocate of women earning their own money. And this is not about feminism. The idea of it is not to have money and show off to your husband. No. The idea of it is for self-worth. You cannot want things and every time you're asking your husband for money. You should be able to say to your husband, oh, I settled it, I sorted these things out. You should be able to say, sweetheart, I sorted this one out, or I did that, and things like that. You shouldn't have to wait for your husband to spend money. Even the Bible says that money is a defense, and money answereth all things. You shouldn't be a liability to your husband. When you are coming to the table, come correct. Be a person of value. Add value to your husband, add value to your marriage. Having something that you're doing and earning your own money is good for your self-worth. And it's a defense. I've seen women who are stuck in bad marriages because they don't have money to go anywhere. They'll say things like, I cannot go, I don't have any money. They can't take the children because they feel that, oh, the children will suffer if I take them. Where am I going to take them to? I don't even have money to get an accommodation or anything. I don't have money to send them to school, nothing. They stay back in the marriage. Some of them are maimed, some of them are killed. Having your own money is very, very important. Money stops rubbish. My husband will say, money gives you options. It does. Money is very important. Very, very important. I use the example a lot, especially for people who are excited about getting married. I don't have anything about you getting married. But I say to the person, what are you doing? What does your husband do? What do you do? There's some situation that will make you realize that love is not enough. Let me give you an example. Your husband doesn't have money. You don't have money. Your child is sick and you need to take that child to the hospital. Or your child is sent home from school because school fees has not been paid. And you ask your husband, he says to you, I don't have money now. And you don't have money. That point is when you realize that love is not enough. There are so many things that are important. Don't let anybody deceive you. Money is good. Money will answer a lot of things. Money will give you options. The love of money is evil. Do not get married and be a financial burden to your husband. Do not be a liability. Earn your own money. It is good. It makes you feel good. So the truth is that money stops rubbish. Money might not stop your husband from cheating. But when you have money, there's a spring to your step. If you have money, you find out that there are some fights you will not be fighting. You will not be fighting over money. I keep on telling people, when you begin to fight over money, it's because money is not enough. So money gives you respect. So imagine that your husband wants to sort out something and he says, oh, I don't have money now. And you say to him, don't worry, I got you. And you sort out that thing. The man will respect you. So I just want to say thank you so much, Chiamaka, for sharing your story with us. I know that Memuna will be watching, and I know that there are so many women too who would take a cue from this story. So guys, what do you think about Chiamaka's story? Let us meet in the comment section and let us discuss this. Till next time when I come your way again, my name remains Adebusola David. Bye.